Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios or iHeartMedia Studios. We are also broadcasting to you live from YorbaMedia.com. All right, my first guest today is Wayne Miner. He's having a little technical difficulties. We're going to talk about Buyer's Armor today, and we're going to see what Wayne's got to say. All right, and I just helped him listen to himself. Wayne, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
It's good to be back, Mike. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure. All right, last time you were here for Buyer's Armor, the new way for anybody to buy a car and to actually trade it at dealer price for a car. You've made a lot of improvements. You've talked to some other investment bankers about going nationwide with your program. You've done a lot of different things. Bring us up to date on what's going on with your company.
Sure. Well, what we've done is, the term buyer's armor, first of all, is when you stop and think about it, we're going to arm the purchaser. We're going to level the playing field, if you will, and equal the odds. So that's always been the game plan. There's two sides to the site. There's a premium side and the free side, and we discussed primarily the free side last time I was here. Now, since then, we've really made the premium side much more dominant, if you will. So there truly is buyer's armor. I mean, that's our mission. We really are going to be the only site that we're aware of that is actually funded by the consumer themselves. Now, anytime you go to any of these websites, I don't want to name names, but there's a million of them out there.
Not really. There's only like about four, right?
Well, there's a lot of them are been gobbled up by the bigger guys. But again, I want to, just anytime you go to one of these websites, be cautious. Primarily, they're funded by a dealership. The dealerships, I should say in plural. And what they're doing is they're selling your information to the dealer. So you're going to go on and you're going to access local dealer inventory and so on. Someone has to pay for that. It's really nothing's free. There's no free lunch, as we all know. So in essence, what you're doing is you're generating a lead, and that's being sold to dealerships.
Right.
Okay. So what's a good deal? The big adage is that you go down to the dealership and the salesman tells you one thing. Well, I don't believe that. We're gonna dicker. We're gonna negotiate some more. He's just trying to work me. He's trying to get as much money as he can. Well, of course, it's his job.
Right.
But don't fool yourself just because you go to a website. Don't think that they're being honest with you necessarily. I mean, they're doing the same thing. It's being paid for, by that dealership. So what's a good deal? What the salesman tells you? What this website tells you?
Right.
So that's what we're doing. That's way different. What we're going to do is actually arm you, with information. And you can go to our site right now, anywhere in the country. And on the premium side, because we actually don't need dealer inventory to do this.
Right.
But we have all the book values for every make and model that there is. And on new cars, I can give you the invoice. If you know what options you want and what option packages and wheel sizes and so on and so forth.
Let's slow down a little bit and tell everybody just how this works. How are you arming people? I mean, you go in, you're looking for a car that fits your payment plan, not necessarily negotiating on these.
Well, it does that too.
You start off with that, isn't it? Is that right?
Well, that's on the free side.
Okay.
Now that actually is funded by dealerships, because we're actually accessing their inventory. Now you can type in
So you were talking to me about the premium side, though.
Right?
Okay. Well, break that down for me.
Okay. So on the premium side, what we're doing is we're actually going to whatever car you're looking for. I don't care if it's a new car, used car, as long as it's recent history. I think it goes back 10 or 11 years. But whatever used car that you're looking for that you want to finance or what have you or pay cash for, we're going to tell you if it's a new car, I can tell you what they own it for, what the invoice is on that vehicle.
All right.
Okay. If it's a pre-owned vehicle, I can tell you what we feel they should own that vehicle for, what wholesale prices are in that area.
What are you basing that number on?
Sure. It's a conglomerate of things. It's an average of the book values, the wholesale values, the stuff that the general public doesn't get to see. I mean, you can go and find out what trade-in is and so on and so forth. So there's auction information, there's trade-in information, there's ACV, which is actual cash value. But then you got to add in some freight, reconditioning, that sort of thing. And we come up with a number that's fair that they should own that car for. And from there, now you can negotiate from cost up.
Okay, so I went and looked at my girlfriend has decided I need a new image.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
She's going to redress you also?
Exactly.
Or that's already done?
Yeah, she's working on that. But let's say that so we went over to the Cadillac dealer.
Okay.
Right. and he showed me 3 different cars.
Okay.
And
Are these new vehicles?
brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Is this part of the premium side?
Yes.
Explain to me. So I went and looked at, what was it, CST,
Okay.
right?
CTS.
CTS, thank you. Right in the middle of the road. So you got a low end, middle of the road, and then the high end where it's like,
Well, they're all
700
luxury
horsepower in the
vehicles.
car.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I picked the one that's middle of the road, say the $50,000 car.
Okay.
How would I use buyer's armor in that case
Sure.
to really get
Well, what you want to do is you want to make note of what options that has. Okay, and there's different codes and so on and so forth. It might have one package or another, and if it doesn't have premium wheels, oversized wheels, whatever the options are on any vehicle. And the Cadillac, there's going to be many more. So you write down all of those options, and then you go to our site. On the premium side, it'll cost you, I believe, it's $14.95 for one search. Very reasonable. I mean, you're looking at spending, these days a minimum of $20,000, $30,000 up to like $150. That's
right.
pretty
Or
reasonable
in my
price.
case, 50. Right.
Okay. And so you put in your credit card, and for $15, you type in all those options. You pick Cadillac, you pick CTS, whatever it is you're looking for, and all the options, and then we're going to generate the actual invoice for that vehicle.
Okay.
And so now when you go in there, instead of the list price is $55,900, $25,000, what have you, they own that thing for, I'm just making up a number here,
Okay.
$49,000.
Okay.
And so now you can say, look, what's a reasonable profit above that I'm willing to pay? So instead of negotiating from retail down, which is what they want you to do,
Right.
okay, especially if you have a trade-in, they can play with all the numbers and so on and so forth. You know what they own that car for. So you can say to yourself, well, if I give them $51,000, they made a $2,000 profit on me.
Right.
So you are now armed with knowledge. You have the facts that they have. So you actually know. We've leveled the playing field. It's always been a one-sided equation.
So I can make a reasonable bid knowing that I'm dealing with their profit margin they've got to deal with so they don't blow it back at me and not get snookered. What about the back end on these?
Well, that's always, as we discussed last time I was here, something to look out for.
Yeah.
That's when you buy the car, the purchase price is only one half of the equation. If you are financing, now if you are paying cash, that's the end of that.
Right.
Depending on where you get your money. Now, if you negotiated financing with your own bank, okay, well, that's the deal you made there. But make no mistake, when you go into the finance office or the business manager's office, and you're going to take dealer financing, there's a whole nother negotiation going on there.
Right.
So you really need to be careful of, and we have facts on our website also that should tell you based on your credit score what you should be paying for an interest rate, and they mark that up as well. So we can give you again. There's a lot of different factors there, so we can give you an estimated, some examples, if you will. Wells Fargo might offer you this, Bank of America might offer you that, and you can use that as a baseline to negotiate from.
Okay. What should we look for a reasonable rate? Let's say somebody's got like a 700 credit score or something like that.
I'll tell you what.
Are there too many factors to deal with?
You have to do the research, especially this time of year. Right now, there's year-end clearances, so there's 0%. Chrysler's got 0 for 72 months.
Right.
Do you want a Chrysler product? But that's very good incentive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So, it really depends on your situation and the time of year. You have to put the work into it and do a little research there. And our site is very helpful in that.
What are some of the things we should be looking out for? Because there are people that are going to go out there, and this is the end of the year. They're going to take advantage of this. And they're going to buy a car. So now the buyer's armor is there to help them keep the pricing in line, make sure that they don't get snookered on something. Give us some of the high points and some of the things that people should look out for in order to protect themselves as they're going in to make this purchase.
Well, you have to look at your own individual situation. Leasing is something to consider at all times. Leasing is, everyone's very afraid of leasing. What does leasing mean? Should I lease? Should I not? Why would I want to?
Let's talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So, why would I lease a car when I can buy it? And so on and so forth. Well, there's a lot of different reasons for that. Now, first of all, leasing is just nothing more than it's just an alternative method of finance.
Right.
It started back in the 50s with all the guys coming back from World War II. They had the GI Bill, and everyone, the economy was good and everything, and everyone's buying a house, could have a car. Well, if you're stretched a little thin on your budget, what they did is they had balloon payments. And a balloon payment is simply a lease, really. It has a residual value at the end, and you're responsible for that. So that pretty much went through the 50s and 60s. In the 70s, they called it an open-end lease, still the same thing. Okay, they disclosed it a little differently. But at the end of the lease, there was a balance, and you were responsible for it. Well, that didn't fly too long. And then in the 80s and certainly by the 90s, they had the closed-end lease, which is pretty much what we have today. And what that means is, yes, there's a residual value. Okay, and for folks who don't understand what we're talking about here, if you're leasing a car for 2 years, okay, you're paying for the use of that car for 2 years, and it's still worth money at the end, right? It's now it's just a 2-year-old pre-owned vehicle. So there's a balance of it's no longer a new car, it has to be sold as a used car, but who is responsible for that balance? And we'll just use round numbers with no interest or anything. We'd say it was $20,000, and it's $1,000 a year to lease it, or $2,000 a year to lease it, and that leaves a balance of $16,000. Who's responsible for that? Now, balloon payment would mean the purchaser would be. I'd have to come up with $16,000 or refinance it or sell it or do something. Well, now it's the leasing company that owns that car.
Right.
And they're going to take that back at that guaranteed price, right? They own it for that amount of money, and that's on your contract. That's the residual value. And that determines the balance that's left over that you paid for the period of time that you used it. Okay, so when you're leasing, you're just paying for the usage of the vehicle. Instead of 100% of it, I'm only going to use it for 2 years. I'm going to pay for 20% of it.
Right.
Follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing to consider because your payment's always less. Now, there's good tax benefits to that if you're a business. Okay.
What are they? Do you know?
Well, certainly, you can write off 100% of that payment. Okay, so if you're going to get your salesman a car because he's going to be on the road, you lease it. Instead of depreciating that car 20% a year, okay, over 5 years, I can lease it for 2 years and write off 100% of whatever I paid for that vehicle that year. If my lease payment's $199, I'm going to write off $2,400 approximately. Okay, and you got to balance that with purchasing it. If it's more of a construction company type of thing, you might want to consider purchasing that vehicle. You're going to keep it when you're done, okay,
Right.
and it still has more value to you. You're going to go out and make money with it. So these are all things you need to look at along with financing. Leasing is just another method of doing so, and how does it apply to you? And, check with your accountant or so on and so forth. For the individual, most people, they finance a car for 5 or 6 years, and as soon as they get the title and they paid it off, they run out and get another car payment. So now they're paying way too much money. They always have a perpetual car payment. Why not make it lower? So there's another reason you might lease.
I get it. That makes a lot of sense. All right, well, you've got a lot of things that you've accomplished so far in 2013. One of which is just getting this
2014?
launched. 2014, excuse me. Getting this launched. Well, actually, there's been a lot.
Well, 13 was a big year too for us.
All right. On the next segment, I wanted to talk about what you're going to do in the future, what your plans are, because there's. You also are open for other investors to come in and grow with you as you grow this thing nationwide.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to break any of the rules about disclosure or anything of that nature, what public solicitation. So we got to be careful about that. But there are certain things that we can talk about making this, something that people can actually not only protect themselves with, but a ground floor opportunity to grow with.
Participate with us, absolutely.
Yep. Okay. Well, tease us a little bit on what some of the things are when Danny, our board operator, comes back in. We'll go to a commercial break. Some of the things that we're going to talk about on the next segment.
Well, we have been looking, as you mentioned earlier. We've been speaking with some investment bankers and exploring those options. But we've done all the heavy lifting, and we've built this product, and we need a little operating capital to get to the next level. And, we'd really like to do that with individuals rather than big institutions. So we'll talk about that for individual investors' opportunity.
Sounds good. All right, we'll be right back on the other side of this break with Wayne Miner of buyersarmor.com. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned.
From the North Texas Traffic Center in Mesquite, we have an accident 30 westbound at Galloway Avenue, tying up your 2 right lanes. Actually, only those 2 right lanes are getting by. We are seeing some heavy delays from Zion Road, having just around 20 minutes to drive. And an accident out on your right shoulder, 35E northbound at Dallas North Tollway. Seeing these delays back from Zane Boulevard. Also an accident in Dallas, 175 westbound at Pennsylvania Avenue has that right lane tied up. Those delays from Lake June. I'm Heather Anderson with your KFXR traffic.
WorkZone Cam's plug-and-play systems are reliable, simple to install, and can be purchased with no monthly fee. Providing a professional job site webcam is now easier than ever. Visit WorkZoneCam.net for details. Attention men and women, are you suffering from back pain, neck pain, or joint discomfort? Would you like to learn of a non-surgical solution? Call American MedFix at 972-591-6675. That number again, 972-591-6675 to receive free info on how you may qualify for natural creams that may provide you with the relief you are seeking. All products are 100% made in the USA. Call now, 972-591-6675 or visit AmericanMedFix.com.
The Garage is a business accelerator and investment fund looking for new ideas in technology, manufacturing, and consumer goods. Our 90-day intensive workshops, taught by entrepreneur mentors, are focused on one thing: helping you make money faster. Each week, you'll experience a class taught by successful entrepreneurs with the guidance of experienced mentors in your field. We get you to revenue faster and help you find investors when the time is right. To learn why we're different, go to workthegarage.com. That's workthegarage.com.
Call Big D Cats Catamarans for fun corporate events and private parties. Come celebrate with your special clients and build your team. Bring up to 85 of your clients and friends for dinner and dancing on the yacht, just minutes away from your office at Pier 121 Marina on Lake Louisville. Come sailing, golfing, target shooting for a fun yet elegant evening and cruise. You have to see this beautiful 70-foot catamaran. Check out the website at bigdcats.com. And to book your event today, call 214-705-3772.
Hi, I'm Rodney Anderson, here to answer the question, what is the hottest loan program that people are asking about today? It's the Cash Out Refinance. Pick up the phone right now and call 1-800-EXPRESS and listen to the Rodney Anderson Radio Show weekdays from 3 to 4 p.m. on AM 1190.
From the Mini Cooper Weather Center, today mostly cloudy and windy, high of 73. Tonight cloudy, low of 67. This report is brought to you by ReverseLitter.com.
Pledge to pick up 10. That's 10 pieces of trash every Tuesday. You'll keep trash out of rivers and lakes and help our Texas waterways stay beautiful. Make the 10 on Tuesday pledge and make a difference at ReverseLitter.com.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeartMedia studios and broadcasting worldwide through YorbaMedia.com. All right, in studio, Wayne Miner. He is the CEO of Buyer's Armor. How to protect yourself, the new way to buy new and used cars. It's a brand new concept that's going to sweep the world. And not only does it just do cars, it does other things too, doesn't it, Wayne?
It will. We're going to do motorcycles, RVs, anything that has a book value. Home appliances, actually. Right. Now there's used office equipment has book values. I mean, we were looking into all kinds of different things. Heavy equipment. For sure.
What we're going to talk about on this segment is what's gone on with Buyer's Armor, where are you taking it, and why would an investor even think about looking at it?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, we are the only site so far that I know of that, and we should take the world by storm because of it, that is actually funded by consumers. So it's for consumers, by consumers. So as we discussed on the previous segment, anyone looking at a vehicle now, they go to all these myriad of websites that tells them, this is I love the one that tells you the quote unquote, true good deal, if you will. And what they're giving you is the average. You can get this, it's just Kelley Blue Book under a different name. And they're just showing you the average of what people paid for cars in your area. Well, if that's important to you, then God bless you, have at it. To me, that's only telling you, the car dealerships in my area are good enough at their job to make X amount of dollars off the people in my general area, so I should just follow along. If that's a $3,000 profit, I guess that's what I have to pay, right? Wrong. I want to arm people. I want to arm myself with the knowledge of what do they own that car for. I want to negotiate from cost up, not retail down. I want to know what the real deal is. I don't mind, if $3,000 is a mutually agreeable profit margin, that's fine. But I want to know where I'm at. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's what we do. We actually arm the individual. Now, why would someone want to invest in that? Well, first of all, instead of being paid by, there's only 17,400 car dealers in this country. And if you look on NADAguides.com, it'll show you every year how much they've dropped. There used to be 140,000 of them.
Wow. And,
we actually sell more cars at a higher profit margin now with those many dealers, but there's a lot less of them, and they're declining every year. It's almost a steady exact, even with that big crash in 2008, It just kind of fit the mold. Unbelievable. Take a look at that.
Okay.
So instead of limiting my market, all right, my potential income universe, so customer universe to that, we now have 208 million licensed drivers that we're going after in this country, and all the potential ones, okay? So now my potential for profit has grown exponentially. Okay, so I can charge a much less of a premium, as we're looking at $14.95 for one search.
Right.
That's certainly attractive. On the average price of a car these days is $26,000 or $8,000, I believe, on a new vehicle. Who wouldn't spend $15?
Right.
Okay? And we buy advertising in such a way, it's pennies on the dollar of what the industry usually charges. And so we can do that nationally. We can drive traffic now instead of just television, through radio, through we don't need dealers' inventory to do this. We have all that information already that we purchase from different providers, different databases. Kelley Blue Book, NADA, just to mention a couple. So we have all the information we need, all the different makes and models. We can cover everything from new to used, going back, I think, 11 or 12 years is what we do. And our potential for profit is just tremendous. In fact, if you do the numbers, if we just get, I believe, 1/10 of 1%, we're a $100 million company.
Wow.
And that's just on 15.5 million people that bought cars last year. That's what we're basing those on. So we should do, and our local marketing test is way beyond that.
What does that say?
Well, it's it's very limited to this market, and it was
Right.
a short period of time. But we were looking in just this general area for a 3-month period.
The Dallas Metroplex.
Yeah, just under 2%.
Just under 2%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That sounds like this is going to be amazing 2015 for you.
It certainly has the potential to be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's talk about the expansion nationwide. I mean, are there major cities that you're looking to go into first and penetrate the market with?
Yeah. What we'll do is we'll tend to gravitate toward, obviously, metropolitan areas and the suburbs thereof. So
Right.
Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New York, L.A., Seattle, what have you, Chicago.
Right.
Your major, Florida, you're going to have Tampa, you're going to have Miami, you're going to have...
Let's talk about the car industry here for a
Sure.
second. Here. What's the outlook there? Because you have to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. Obviously, the stock market is moving higher. Disposable income is coming back. Even though there's some pockets of poverty in the economy as a whole, the people that would be buying the cars could definitely have more money.
First of all, America has a love affair with cars. Always has.
Yeah.
People buy cars when they don't necessarily need them. They buy what they want.
Right.
And it's it's status, it's prestige, it's
Right.
the joy of driving, whatever you want to call it. America buys more cars than anybody, so that will never change. But what's very unique right now is that if you can call it recovery that's been going on for the past 4 years, even though as minimal it is, what's driving it is the auto industry, whereas decades in past has always been the housing market,
Right.
which has remained flat throughout the country. So. What's driving force right now in this economy is the automobile industry, and I don't see any real difference in that in the foreseeable future. Now we have a big election tomorrow, and what comes of that, will have to remain to be seen. But
So what you're saying is key economic indicators are what's happening. As a guy I knew a long time ago said, let's move the steel. How that steel's moving.
Exactly.
And what you're telling me is there's no bump there. It seems to be moving, and it looks
in a
to
very
be
an upward direction, and really it seems to be growing. If anything, if the predictors are right for tomorrow's election, that should actually increase. And if not, we're still in an upward trend.
Explain that. Explain it to the people who have been, off doing other things this weekend
and not paying attention to that it's election day tomorrow.
The key the indicators, what's happening. Yeah, what do you think is going? What the predictors are for the election?
Well, you are the financial guru, but I can say this. We've tried this formula, if you will, for the past 6 years, and it's produced minimal.
So you're saying now we're really now it's a real time for a change? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I personally believe so, but that's up to
this time. We really are going to get to keep the change.
Is there going to be some change?
Is there going to be some
that you can spend? Yeah. Hopefully things will go the GOP way tomorrow. Is my personal feeling. But if that happens, and it looks like it will. We should take back the Senate. We're still going to have split government in Washington, so on and so forth. But listening to one of your predecessor shows this morning while I was waiting in the parking lot, that should create quite a surge in the economy just on the stock market side immediately, and certainly create some trending on overall spending and growth, in the next couple of years. So either way you look at it, the automotive industry looks strong for the foreseeable future.
Right. There's no indicators that are showing you early economic indicators in the auto industry showing you it's tapering. So that would be a key economic indicator that probably we will get a change. We will get people who are more capitalistic, intent driven, in power to move this forward. Well,
hopefully so.
Yeah. Well, we got about 2 minutes left in the segment, and let's get back onto you because I wanted to give people who are looking for investments, take something off the table. Everybody does as the market
Certainly.
rallies, and where to put it into.
Well, here's what we've
higher
done.
leverage.
We've taken 32% of our net profit,
right,
and set that aside for investment. So we're looking to sell 32% of this thing. And with the numbers we've generated, our budget shows for in 2015, if we hit our goals, we are a $200-300 million company in our first year. So that translates out to quite a bit of money that we're looking to sell out, and we think in a very reasonable investment structure. If anyone's interested, please feel free to give us a call. The phone number is 214-618-0633. Say that again, 214-618-0633. Or you can, I'll even go on a limb here and put my personal number out there, 214-900-7479. We'd love to hear from you.
And buyersarmor.com if you want to take a test drive of the site and see how it works for both new and used cars.
Please do. And one thing I can say, people that call us, we'll give them some free passwords. They can go on and use the premium side and take a look at it, and we'll be happy to have one of our staff call and walk them through it.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Wayne.
My pleasure.
All right. We'll be right back on the other side of this break with more content for you. Good luck. Good trading.